Thanks for staying with us on Headlines Now. Let's move on now to some more city updates. Well, 5-year-old Tamanna is back home safe and sound. The little girl disappeared on the Marina Beach about a week ago, but the police are still investigating as to who could have taken her away and the reason behind her mysterious disappearance. Salim caught up with the family, which is bouncing back to normalcy after a harrowing ordeal.
After the incident, the police say that they have roped in women cops to caution the people who walk with their children at the Marina Beach. The police also expressed their dissatisfaction by saying that the public have not learnt a proper lesson from this incident. Even yesterday, 3 child missing cases have been reported. The women cops who are campaigning there at the Marina say, ask the parents to hold their children's hands properly. Now, shifting focus, we are also joined by Mr. Noor, father of Tamanna. Sir, tell us, did you manage to speak to your little Tamanna and ask her who actually took her away from the beach?
Yeah, first of all, thank you to Ndtv people and all the people who have prayed for me. And now my daughter, she is safe and with the family. Yeah, we are trying to ask something from her, little bit. So as we came to know that there is some lady behind this. She is telling like that, auntie. When you ask with whom you are living, with who is there, she said one of auntie. When she was crying, and a lady had took her and told her that we'll take you to your mother, and he took off to her home. Like he's saying, तुझे मैं अम्मी के घर को लेको जाता हूँ, उनको they took me to, मुझे उसके घर को लेको चलेगी dad. So she is staying like that, and she was there, and nothing special to eat for her. They was giving the curd rice, and so she is little bit nervous now, but we are trying to get something little bit slowly. We'll see.
And when we interacted with the police say they have investigated over 100 people so far, but they are yet to zero in on the accused.
Well, even as Chennai warms up for the summer, the strain of viral fever has hit its denizens. The urge to beat the heat by rushing into air-conditioned rooms and sometimes even with ice-chilled drinks has many Chennaiites popping pills. Zoya Thomas brings us this report.
Suffering from high fever or sore throat? Well, blame it on the heat. It's not just the monsoons, but soaring humidity in summer is the perfect incubator for the many viruses to thrive in conducive environment. And if you don't watch out, you can easily fall prey to this annoying illness.
I used to take a walk from my PG to the office, and it's really hot, and you get into an air-conditioned environment, it's like totally a mess, and like even my friends had caught it because of me, like it's a transition.
This summer, clinics in both private and government hospitals have been open for longer hours. In fact, city hospitals have reported a spike in cases of viral infection in the month of April and May. Even worse, there seems to be no respite from the increasing temperature, which went up to 42 degrees at the beginning of this month.
Coming from the hot atmosphere to the cold atmosphere and drinking cool drinks, obviously it cools down your system, especially the throat, mouth and all those things. These viruses can survive more in the cool climate. They can also multiply in this cool climate. It is preferable not to have, very cold drinks and all those things. The room temperature drinks would be probably more useful.
So don't reach for the chilled bottle and avoid walking in and out of air-conditioned rooms. A few basic precautions should keep the doctor away. In Chennai, Zoya Thomas for Ndtv-Hindu.
Let's move on now to some national updates. Well, the Congress MP and Minister of State Sachin Pilot was released after he was taken into preventive custody earlier today, even as he tried to make his way to the epicenter of the UP land agitation. He was held at the Lal Kuan Chowk outside Bhatta Parsol villages. Pilot had earlier visited the Dasna jail, where he met some of the jailed farmers. Pilot had accused the Mayawati government of large-scale land grabbing and demanded a judicial probe into reports of missing farmers and atrocities against women, including rape. Though the UP police have released him, they will escort Sachin Pilot back to the Delhi border.
Wanted to go to those villages, not just Bhatta and Parsol, but the surrounding villages where also the notices have been given for acquiring land. The police, it's never happened before. The Uttar Pradesh police themselves blocked a national highway for over an hour. Then, without giving any reason, detained us, arrested us, and brought us here to the police line, saying that we were going to break some law and order. In fact, it is the police and the bureaucracy which is blocking the highway, not allowing us to go. We had not planned meetings, no speeches, no other agenda except for to share the sorrow and grief of the people who have lost their lives, who have been injured. Wanted to sit with them, just give them condolences and give them some sense of comfort. You're not allowed to enter the district, not allowed to enter the village, but the BSP, MPs and MLAs are allowed freely to move around. We are allowed not even to enter the district. I think it's very unfortunate that when everybody wants to go and make sure things are what they have been claimed to, they're saying things are normal, everything is coming back to normal.
Moving on, the BJP has threatened a nationwide agitation if the centre does not decide by Tuesday what it's going to do with Governor H.R. Bharadwaj's report to the President recommending the President's rule in the state.
The script was written by some Congress leaders in Delhi and it is being played by the Governor in a shameless manner. Any further delay will be a negation of people's mandate, goes against the spirit of federal structure. If the centre do not act within the coming 24 hours, the central party of the BJP will be compelled to launch a nationwide agitation, both against the central government as well as the governor.
Moving on now, did America fail to do enough to help protect Benazir Bhutto shortly before she was assassinated in Pakistan? Well, we bring to you a WikiLeaks NDTV exclusive.
Are you scared of going back? No. Do you worry for your life? No. You do know there is a threat to your life. There have been public pronouncements from Taliban leaders talking about sending suicide bombers to the airport when you return to Karachi.
I believe that life and death are in God's hands, and I believe that nobody can be killed until their time is up. And therefore I go back with my faith in God, putting my faith in the people of my country.
It was with this faith and trust Benazir Bhutto returned to Pakistan. After years in exile, back to fight elections and extremism that had engulfed her country. At Karachi, a bloody welcome. Benazir escaped unhurt, but over 130 of her party workers killed in the suicide attack. And this would be the last time the world saw her alive at a rally in Rawalpindi. But unknown to her, her killers were closing in. Gunmen fired several rounds at her. In seconds, it was all over. A suicide bomber silenced her forever. The 54-year-old Benazir Bhutto, Pakistan's most popular politician, was dead. As angry Pakistanis took to the streets, the Musharraf government accused Al-Qaeda of killing Benazir. But the media revealed an email in which Benazir wrote to US spokesman Mark Siegel a week after the first assassination bid, where she said, "If harmed in Pakistan, I would hold Musharraf responsible. I have been made to feel insecure by Musharraf's minions." Even the United Nations Inquiry Commission said the Musharraf government failed to protect Benazir, and the ISI tried to whitewash the investigation into her death. The Zardari government has now charge-sheeted Musharraf for Benazir's assassination, but he says it was her fault. She took too many risks. It's a story without an end.
Well, in fact, NDTV spoke to retired Pakistani General Rashid Qureshi on the WikiLeaks revelations, and he said that Benazir Bhutto did not adhere to safety precautions suggested to her by the DIG and the ISI. Well, in other news, the Al-Qaeda's new leader, 59-year-old Saif al-Adel, is planning a major terrorist attack on London to avenge the death of his former boss, Osama bin Laden. Soon after being officially appointed the new chief, Saif al-Adel called on his men to crush London. A Taliban spokesperson said, and I quote, "Our new leader has asked for a big plan in London. He believes the UK is the backbone of Europe and must be crushed," unquote. Well, a year ago, exactly on this day, early morning, an Air India Express aircraft overshot the runway at Mangalore, killing 158 passengers flying in from Dubai. The pain and grief for their families has not numbed. A year on, it is now accompanied with a legal battle for compensation to over 2/3 of the victims' families.
Nobody can manage it. that nobody can manage about the loss of my life. I lost my everything. I lost my wife. I lost my son.
A year after the Mangalore crash, Abdul Rahman's grief still raw. His sorrow tinged with anger at Air India, which he claims is haggling over the compensation the families deserve. He says Air India has not even bothered to call him after giving him an initial compensation of 15 lakhs.
जो कमती में जाएगा जो आने के उसको लालच तो ये पैसा मिलेगा लेके जाओ बैंक में रख के सूद मिलेगा सूद खाने के लिए हम लोग बेचनों को नहीं भेजा हम लोग ने सोया वो पायलट के साथ में हमारे बच्चों को हम लोग कुर्बानी करने के लिए नहीं दिया हम लोग ने
Abdul Rahman's bitterness is not isolated. 70 other families have joined in a legal battle that extends from a court in Kerala to hiring a Swedish advocate to fight the case in Dubai. The tussle between the victims' families and the airline is on a single point: the amount of compensation. Families of victims believe they deserve at least 75 lakh rupees per victim, while Air India says there is no such ballpark figure.
As per the Montreal Convention, if there is fault or no fault, up to not exceeding 1 lakh STR, which comes to about 76 lakhs should be paid.
Air India says they have fully settled the claims of 60 families, dispersing 40 crore rupees so far. 5 families have been given the compensation of 75 lakh rupees. 9 families have been awarded a compensation of over a crore.
According to Air India, compensation will differ on a case-to-case basis, which is the international norm, while families of victims believe that Air India is out to get them because they come from poor backgrounds. It's just one more controversy for the embattled national carrier. In Mumbai, Meloni Bhatt for NDTV.
Time now to take a break on the bulletin, but up ahead, right from Apurva Raghangal to Endiran, the superstar never fails to impress his audiences. Stay tuned to find out more on this master entertainer.